these cards into groups, and each group should be of a given group size. And also the property of that group will be the group size has consecutive cards. So I will be given some cards, as you can see, and they will have their this hand of I. It is the value on that ith card. So you can imagine you have multiple cards. On every card you have some value written, and you have to form some groups of the specific group size, and that group should contain consecutive valued card. That's your aim, right? And ultimately, if you can do so, you have to return a true, else you have to return a false. First thing for sure is that I have some hands. My task is to form a group of size 3. So if I ask you how many groups you can form, you will see, Aryan, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 elements. I have to form a group of size 3. So I will form 3 groups. Okay, that is sorted. Now your task is to place, or is it possible to place consecutive elements on these locations. So it should be something like, okay, if I write A plus 1, A plus 2, it should be right B plus 1, B plus 2. Again, A and B are not linked. They can be far apart, but the group should contain consecutive elements. It should contain C plus 1 and C plus 2. Now, if I look at this, and if I ask you what could be the B, it will be a bit tricky to determine what could be the B. Why I'm saying tricky? It is still possible. How? Because for you to place 3 consecutive elements, you should just make sure that no one before him is there. If you are about to place a 4 here, so you should see, okay, if a 3 is also here, then maybe you can place a 3, 4, 5. But a 5 is not there. So maybe you can place a 4 on the end, 3 here and 2 here. So again, hit and try we can do to just figure out what I can place at any location as a starting point. And then I can just do a +1, +1, and I can try to place those points. But I'll say again, it's just a headache. You have a group which is like, you have a bunch of cards which is given to you, right? You will for sure start, for the first group or for any group, you will start with for sure the smallest value. So this one should for sure come somewhere in one of the groups, and it can come in any of the groups, right, as a starting point. He has to come as a starting point because he's the smallest value. So if one will come at, again, he can come in any group, he can come here also, but I'm just saying that he will come at the starting point of one of the groups. So let's say he comes here, then it is for sure that a 2 and a 3 should also be there in my hands. So a 2, yeah, it is there. A 3, yeah, it is there. Okay, great. So I realized that, okay, Aryan, seems like it is good if I sort my entire hands array. Okay, let's try that. So let's do if I sort this entire hands array, so it will become a 1, 2, 1 is gone, 2 is gone, 2 is there, a 3 is there, okay, another 3 is there, okay, a 4 is there, okay, and a 6, 7, and 8 is there. So if I sort it, okay, it looks something like this. Now we know that the smallest element should for sure come at the first place of a group. So okay, he will come at the first place of the group. Let's say he comes here. Then for sure, he will try to search for 2 and 3. So a 2. So basically, firstly, 1 is gone. He will go on to the next element ideally. Okay, next element 2. Okay, I place a 2. Next element is 2. No, I need a 3. So I have to, again, this 2 is gone, but I have to go and jump and find if I have a 3. Okay, 3 I have, now I got it. So one thing you realized, that if I go ahead with this strategy, what will happen? If there would have been multiple 2s, I would have to traverse unnecessarily on all the 2s. I just want to know one thing. My aim is to find, do I have a 3 or not? Do I have, which means existence of a 3 is there or not? That was my task. So why is there even a need to traverse on this unnecessary 2s, which are not even impacting? So I realized, okay, I just want to know the existence. So I can take a hash map saying if a 3 is present or not, true or a false. But then I also realized that I can have multiple 3s. So it's good to take the frequency Again, map is used to find the existence, but then I realized existence along with multiple occurrences. So let's take the frequency, and I will take, okay, map of 3. 3 as a key is having a frequency, so that it will help me to find that if some element is there or not. So again, I will come on back. I know now things are sorted, but I also have my map contain the frequency. So I will firstly again go back, start with 1 for sure because it is the smallest element. Then I will go and search for 2. Now let's convert it. Map of 1 is 1, map of 2 is 2, map of 3 is also 2, map of 4 is 1, map of 6, 7 and 8 are all 1. Now let's come on back. We know that for sure we will place 1. As soon as we place 1, okay, 1 is gone. 1 is gone completely. Now we have to place a 2. Now we will not go into list. Now we have to place a 2. If you have to place a 2, okay, let's place a 2. Decrease the frequency of 2. Okay, place a 3. Decrease the frequency of 3. Now, okay, it is done. Now what? Now you have to start again. First group is done. You have to start with the second group. For the second group again, you should try on for the smallest value, which is not yet consumed. So again, if I use this list, which is sorted by the way, then I realize that one of the 2s is done, one of the 3s is done. So again, unnecessarily, what all have been crossed, I have to go on them again. So sorting list is actually seeming unnecessary. It would have been great if I have iterated on this sorted map itself, because I can sort the map on the basis of its key. So what I will do, I will take not an unordered map, although to grab only the frequency, you would have only grabbed the unordered map. But now I realized I should take a simple map, which will sort the keys. That will perform both the tasks, my sorting task also and my keys hash map task also. So now I take, again, it's a tree set, or like you can take a set with a pair. Hash map is more, unordered map is, ordered map is more than good to perform both the operations, sorting your key and also keeping the tag of frequency. Okay, great. But Aryan, so you will try, if you remembered in the very beginning, you will try and see, okay, iterate on the map. I have a 1. If I have a 1, great, good, go ahead. And if you have a 1, go ahead and place the 1 here. Then try to place a 2 and a 3 by yourself, not asking your map. Just ask your map the frequency, not in the order. For the next element, again, okay, 1 is completely done. This would have been reduced when the first group was being performed. Next element which is remaining is 2. Okay, now place a 2. Try to place, again, as you place a 2, this is for sure gone. This is for sure gone, right? Gone. Okay. Then place a 3 and 4 by yourself and ask if at any point it is not possible to place a 3 or 4, you are done. Yeah, you can place a 3, you can place a 4. Okay. Then the next in the map is 6. Okay. Place a 6. Then try to place a 7 and 8 by yourself. 6, 7 and 8. Right. So that is how I can simply perform it. Still, there are few things here and there which are remaining. I'll highly recommend go and try right now by yourself, but still there are few things here and there, a bit which is remaining. We will see right now. Just before that, let's look at the example number 2. So we had these. Our main task was to make a group of 4, right? So I know that I have 5 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ideally, I should be able to make a group of 4. So I should have 4 elements, but I have only 5 elements. So there is not even a possibility to make group of 4. One group I can make. What about the other? I cannot. So I realized that if my hand size, if it is not divisible by my group size, it is not even possible. Again, if this is not equal to 0, it is not even possible to make my group sizes. Return false directly. Okay. Now, for sure, I hope you have tried. So there is one thing that Aryan, when like, how will you iterate on this? So what if you had a 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and your group size was actually a 3 also. So ideally in this case, you know that you will make 2 groups. of both of size 3. Now, firstly, you will take a map which will be firstly ordered. So 1 frequency is 2, 2's frequency is 2, and 3's frequency is also 2. Then you will iterate on your map starting onwards. You'll firstly check, okay, 1 is there, write down a 1. Okay, firstly, he is gone. Then because of 1, I will have to place a 2, decrease the frequency. I will have to place a 3, decrease the frequency. Then ideally in this case, you would have went on to the next element, because 1 you have iterated, like key as a 1 you have tried. But ideally, if you see, you have not tried key as a 1 all the frequencies. So until and unless you can place ones at the beginning, try to place your 1 at the beginning. So what I will do, I will keep on going on to this specific 1 again and again. So I will say, okay bro, still my 1 is still remaining. So do one thing, put a 1. Then because of this 1, I should be having a 2 and a 3. So a 2 and a 3. Okay, done. And this is also done. So ultimately, this 1 is done. So I will go on to the next element. Its frequency is 0. Okay, go to the next element. Its frequency is 0. Go on to next. Okay, map is done. So I am completely done. So you realize, in worst case, you are going on to all the elements just once. See, the frequency represents element in my hands vector. So you realize you are going on to all the frequency, which means all the elements in your hands vector just once. This question is medium. The complexity of it to understand is actually tricky. Leetcode has given the worst complexity. Even like Lee, who's actually a good programmer, he also has given the wrong complexity of this problem. That's, I don't know why, but people have given the wrong complexity of this problem. So now let's code it. So firstly, we realize that there is one very basic stuff. Let's again, I was thinking to write the code, but yeah, okay, let's write the code. I saw the time, I was thinking, okay, should we write or should we show the code? But let's write the code. So it simply says, first condition is that if my hands dot size, if this is not divisible by my group size, then I should for sure return a false. Then I realized I have to maintain a map which will contain the element of my hands vector and the frequency of it. Let's call it a simple map. I will iterate on my hands vector for auto h in your hand, and then make sure to keep the track of all the elements of my hands vector and their frequencies. Okay, now this is a sorted map. Simply iterate on this sorted map. So for auto, again, for the sorted map, I have a hand and the corresponding frequency. So this map will contain the hand and the corresponding frequency. Now, for this frequency, I know that I have to keep on trying for something. What is that something? Keep on trying. Again, this is the first element. This is the first element of my group. This h is the first element of my group, but it should be in these many number of groups. So while this frequency is not done, this is same way saying while this one frequency is not exhausted, right? Because this 2 represents, it can be a starting point of 2 groups, and this smallest element, so I'm saying it is a starting point. Smallest tells starting, 2 represents 2 groups. Now coming on back, we will say, okay, it can be in these many number of groups, but if it is at these many number of groups, he is a starting point. So I have to ultimately go and try for the next group size number of values. So I will say, okay, let's go and try for the next values, and that I will try by myself. I will not ask my map. So if I place a 1, I will myself have to place a +1 and a +1 group size number of times. So I will say currently I am at 1. Currently I am at h. Then I have to go and try for group size. Then okay, the group size is 3. So I have to go and try for +1, +2, like again, like +1, +1, and so on and so forth. So I'll just do a current ++. But this will go up till, if it is 1 + 3, which is 4, but less than. So current will go up till 3. So from 1 to 3, increasing one by one. Now, when this is being done, I have to make sure that I should have this current in my map. This current frequency should be there in my map, which means map of my current, if this is equals to 0, which means I don't have this current element, or I should say my frequency of this current element is 0, then I am screwed up. I have to return a false. which ideally means that you don't have a 2. You are asking for a 2, but its frequency is 0. You're done. Sorry, bro. If not, then simply, bro, make sure to reduce the frequency of this current by -1. Why it is required? Because as soon as you place a 2, you should make sure that one of the 2s, earlier in the very beginning, the frequency of 2 is 2. As you place a 2, one of the 2s is gone. Now the frequency of 2 is 1. Okay, then when this is done, you are simply good because you have tried for all the values in that group, like 1 plus 1 plus 1 and so on and so forth. You have tried all the values, and ultimately you will try for all the starting points for that specific h, which itself, as it was the beginning of the map, it's itself the starting point of my group. And thus you will see that this is how we will go about our problem. And ultimately we know that if I did not return a false from here or here, I can simply return a true from the end. Now comes the part, again, if I show you the code, it's again, if you just see this code, this is exactly what the code is, which you have to write. Again, make a map, grab the frequencies, grab all this stuff of that if the size is not divisible, then go on to the entire hands value and the frequency. If the frequency is 0, I can continue. Why I have written this? It is just so that, again, as soon as you will come here, yeah, it is recommended to actually write it here. Why it is required? If you remembered, when the first is done, when this is 0, this is also 0, this is also 0. So ideally, when this is 0, so simply skip it. Simply skip it, because something is 0, simply skip it. It has been 0 because of some previous operation, right? It is required because if I might come here, so I should put either a check here itself in the while loop, but I have put a check here itself with the frequency 0, continue and try for the next starting point. So then, okay, while my frequency is not equal to 0, I'll go and try for the entire group values, and then if something is 0, return false. If not, then decrease the frequency and ultimately return 2. Now the complexity for this, as you can simply see, that this operation itself is keeping track. It's a map. Firstly, it's a map. And map is required because I want to keep the things as sorted. Now it will ask for all the values and will push that in my map. So this map operation will itself take a n log n time. Okay, then this operation, considering you have the distinct number of h in your hash map. If that's the case, you will iterate on those distinct number of hash maps, but I will ask you to only focus on frequency. Again, make sure the frequency sum of all the keys in my hash map should be equal to my n, because after iterating on my n, again, imagine this as n, hand size is n. After iterating on the hand size, I was able to build up my hash map. So hash map, if I just go back and show you hash map, when this was a this frequency or 2, sum of all the frequencies is actually adding up to number of elements in my hands. That is the prime thing, how you will be able to determine the frequency, the complexity. So every point you are doing one thing, you are decreasing the frequency. At every point you are decreasing the frequency. So this simply represents that at every point I will decrease the frequency. So in this entire loop, one thing is happening, that my frequency is being decreased once, and if the frequency is 0, I'm just skipping that value entirely, which means that in worst case I will visit every element at max twice. Once I will visit it to decrease its frequency. Second time I might visit it by saying, bro, oh, you have a frequency 0, okay, I should go on to the next element. So once I came onto a frequency by saying, bro, okay, you are this, I should decrease you. Okay, you are this, I should decrease you. Then I might also come here again, oh, you are 0, I should go on to the next element. So 2 represents 2 element in my hands vector, and when it became 0, it represents one more extra try to just check if it is 0 or not. So ultimately, in worst case, it will try for all the possible visits to a element, and because of this I can say at max twice. Thus this will take O of n I should say 2n time. Now I can easily say the complexity will be, you can say O of d log d, or you can also say O of n log n, and space will be O of n itself, because you are storing n elements in your map. And that is your optimal time and space complexity. Now, Leetcode have given a solution of O of n that is not at all a O of n solution. It's a O of n square solution. So please don't rely on any solution. This is actually the most optimal solution. You will have to use a map, or like you can use a set also, but you have to use a sorted data structure. O of n for this is not possible. Cool. I hope you got it. Bye. Take care. Bye bye. Go and join Discord. It's very important to be regular. Bye bye.